This season has been a minefield of luxury beauty launches, and let's be honest, it's getting overwhelming. From holiday collections to limited edition must-haves, everything looks stunning, but not everything deserves your money. That's why I created the Luxe Edit. Every single month, I buy and test the most hyped luxury beauty releases so that you don't have to gamble with your budget. This is not trying new makeup, first impressions. I have tested these products, some of them for weeks at this point, so you'll finally know what is actually worth the splurge and what to skip, even if the internet swears it's amazing. Let's cut through the noise and find out what luxury beauty actually delivered this fall. Let's get into it. And let's kick things off with what has been a sneakily popular release this month. This has been one of the most popular products on my channel over the past couple of weeks, the Victoria Beckham Beauty Cocoa Palette. In fact, this is sold out at the time of me filming this video. This is sold out on the Victoria Beckham Beauty website. I will link down below where else you can get this palette, but this baby sold out. So I guess the question is it worth the hype? Well, I'll start off by saying I do really like this formula. If you missed it, Victoria Beckham Beauty did recently reformulate her eyeshadows. She came out with a couple of new color stories. I really like the new formula. It is more pigmented, but I still find it very easy to work with. The mattes are very blendable, very smooth. You can build them up, you can sheer them out. The metallics are creamy, and it does feel like a very luxurious formula. The Cocoa palette, I think the reason that this has been so popular is just because of the color story. Who doesn't love a good brown? Who doesn't love a beautiful, boring, basic brown palette? I think that's why this one has been selling so well. And I will admit, guys, okay, it is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I'll show you the swatches right here. Just like the other palettes, the mattes, they are powdery, blendable, pigmented. The one metallic shade in the palette, which is this darker brown, ooh, it's just like so smooth and elegant. It's like the perfect brown that isn't too warm. It's gorgeously sultry. And I also do like the fact that she included this lighter satin shade. So you can go a little bit lighter with this palette. And that's the other thing. I think that, I mean, pretty much all the palettes in this line, they have been a bit deep. They are rather smoky. And this one, at least compared to the other ones, it does lean a little bit lighter. I mean, half of the palette is deep and half of the palette is like light medium. So don't get me wrong, guys, like you can still go smoky with this palette, but I think that this one might be a little bit more approachable than some of the other color stories. One thing that I wanted to point out, because I know there's a lot of you out there who don't like super warm palettes, this shade right here, the mid-tone brown matte, that one does pull quite warm. So I'll warn you, there's kind of a mixture of like cool tones, warm tones, medium tones in this palette. So personally, I really like that, but this particular shade does pull pretty warm, and the only like true metallic in the palette is on the darker side. So you'll see the look that I created right here. It does come out quite smoky, but gosh, it is so beautiful. I love the weighty packaging of all the Victoria Beckham Beauty products. So this isn't like a groundbreaking release. Like you can totally dupe this palette, but if you're wondering if it's good, if you wanted to see this palette in action, see the swatches, here you go. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And when I was placing the order for the Cocoa palette, I did pick up the Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation drops. I hadn't tested these out. I've gotten so many questions about these. I did finally pick them up and test them out, guys. This is in the shade number 3, Fair Light. I have these on my skin today, so comment down below, let me know how you think my skin looks. And just like the Victoria Beckham Beauty primers and some of the other base products, this is in collaboration with Dr. Augustinus Bader. If you're not familiar with him and his line, it's a very bougie, very expensive line of skincare. This is supposed to be very skincare infused. It's infused with the Augustinus Bader ingredients for tackling skin elasticity, fine lines, moisture levels. So they're kind of marketing this as skincare, but also makeup, just like a lot of the brands. And that is reflected in the price. And I feel like that's why I've gotten so many questions about this, because the price of this is, I believe, $110. I know, pretty pricey, guys, but I will say, I do think that this is a really nice product. It is very much a skin tint. So if you like something that is very lightweight, that you can kind of sheer out, I think you'll really enjoy this. Although I will say they do provide like a decent amount of coverage, even though the formula is so lightweight. I would recommend this for those of you who have dry skin. It is a very dry skin friendly formula. It's very moisturizing. In fact, you can see right there upon first application, it looks juicy. Like these drops, they look juicy on the skin. They're very moisturizing, but I will say it does set down, and if you go on top with powder products, it sets down even better. I have the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick Duo on in shade 01, and that's a very matte type of powder, and I felt like it did a great job of just kind of like setting the foundation drops. I didn't have to go in with too much powder. You can powder them, you can layer, you know, other products on top of these, but at the end of the day, it is very much a moisturizing formula. I think I'm really going to enjoy these more so in the winter time. It's still like in the 80s here in Dallas right now, so this isn't like exactly the product that I'm gonna be reaching for. I'm still kind of reaching for more of my like mattifying foundations, but I think this will be really nice in the winter time when my skin starts to get ultra dry. Is it worth the price? Well, I mean, it's about the same price as like my Clé de Peau, my Sisley foundations, all of the other high-end foundations that I know and love. All of those are touting the same level of skincare, and Augustin Espadar is known for being a luxury prestige skincare brand, so I think it was really smart that she partnered with him. I find this formula to be just as good as those other high-end brands. I think it's a really good skin tint. It really just comes down to whether or not you care about your foundation drops being skincare infused. Do you use Augustin Espadar products? If you do, this could be a really great way to kind of layer on similar ingredients. I don't regret this purchase at all. I think these are really beautiful, but are there other good skin tints out there at a more affordable price? Can you get something similar out there without the skincare? Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, I have an entire skin tint video featuring all of my favorite skin tints, all of my favorite light coverage foundations, which I will link down below if you want to check that out after this for some more recommendations. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you are new here, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Sophia, and I upload new videos just like this every single week, all about accessible luxury, beauty, and style. I film all of my beauty videos in natural light with no filters. I like to keep things fun and brutally honest on this channel. I only recommend the very best products to my subscribers that make them feel luxurious every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. We seriously would love to have you. As a reminder, I will be linking all of these products, all the shades and comparisons and things in the description box down below if you would like to shop along with me, or on the shopping button on the screen. And by the way, friends, we have a lot to cover in this video, so I'm going to link my playlist down below of all of the holiday collections that I've reviewed so far this season, because there are a lot of collections out there that I've already done a standalone video for. The Chanel, Dior, Clé de Peau, the Byredo palette, Guerlain is coming. So I'm gonna link that playlist down below because I'm not gonna be covering those products in this video, but I do have dedicated videos for all of those releases. And speaking of holiday collections, let's chat about the Chantecaille holiday collection. This is called the Eclat Cristalline collection. Hopefully I pronounced that okay. They very kindly gifted me a couple of pieces to this collection, so I'm gonna give you my honest review here in this Luxe edit. I have 3 items to review, and then if you guys are interested, let me know. I can pick up some of the other ones off of their website because this collection is currently live right now. First up, we have the Radiant Blush. Now, this is kind of like a cross between a blush and a highlighter. It's very light if you use it as a blush. I feel like I'm just fair enough where I can get away using this as a blush. If you are my skin tone or fair, I think you will really enjoy this as a glowy blush. If you are tanner than me, this is probably going to be more like a blush topper, more of like a colorful highlight, something to add a little bit of like glow to the cheekbones. But for me, I can definitely wear this as a blush, and I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by this product. When I first opened it up, I was like, this looks really light. What is this supposed to be? But I think it looks gorgeous on the cheeks. It is glowy but incredibly smooth. You can definitely sheer it out if you don't want as much glow as I have on my cheeks today. It is definitely, it's a luxury formula. Like, this is really nice. The packaging, it's all right. It's like rhinestones. I see what they're doing here. Like, it's the Cristalline collection, and it does, I don't know, like it does have kind of like an elegant sort of festive look to it, but personally it doesn't speak to me. I'm showing you what it looks like because maybe it speaks to you. What I really enjoy about this product is the actual formulation. I think Chantecaille do a really great job making formulas that are glowy and radiant and highlight your natural beauty without emphasizing texture. Now, the other cheek product, the Cheek Light, this is gonna be more of a highlighter. Like, I don't know who this is going to be a blush for. I guess they called it a cheek light because it's supposed to be a highlighter, but it does have a really beautiful kind of pinky undertone. It's more or less the same formula as the Radiant Blush, except it is just a lighter color. This is what I use to dust onto the high points of my cheekbones. I also put it in the inner corner of my eye, in the center of the eye. It's absolutely beautiful, really, really pretty. And in fact, I did a little comparison here with the Chanel Rêve de Camellia highlighter and also the Dior pink highlighter. You will see there in the comparison, this is just as smooth and ethereal as these other luxury formulas, except it's not quite as frosty as the Dior, and it's a little bit pinker than the Chanel Rêve de Camellia highlighter. If you were looking for something similar to that highlighter, if you don't mind it being just a little bit more pink, I think this would be a really beautiful option. I think the formula is great. The real problem, guys, is the price. Okay, let's be honest. Let's address the elephant in the room. These are each $105, and I think that is so expensive. It's so expensive even for a luxury product. If you really like the packaging and if this is like exactly what you're looking for, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with the formula. I really don't. But personally, just looking at the price, if it were me, I would wait for the Chantecaille Black Friday sale. They have it every single year in November, and I am going to be getting early access. So if I were you, I would wait for that. I don't think that they will sell out. I can't promise you that. But if you're eyeing these, I would probably wait for that sale because they usually give, I believe it's 25% off. 25% off, I would pick one of these up because I think that the formula is really, really beautiful. If you already have other luxury highlighters that you're loving, stick with those. You don't need to buy another highlighter. It's not like this is a must-have, but for those of you out there who just really, really adore these smooth baked formulas, these would be products to pay attention to. And in fact, if you want some other recommendations of some of my other favorite highlighters, I do have a full highlighter video guide, so I'll link that down below in case you want to check it out after this. And then the last product that I received is the Lumiere liquid eyeshadow, and they sent it to me in the shade Marron Glace, which I am so thankful for because this is totally the shade that I would have picked up, and this is what I have on my eyes today. If you are a cool tone neutral lover out there, and if you love a little bit of sparkle, this would be a shade that I recommend you checking out. And I was totally prepared to come on this video, guys, and tell you this is a skip. Oh, it's just another liquid eyeshadow. Whoop-de-doo. Why do I love this? Why do I love this so much? These are actually really, really good. They are beautiful. The formula, you can feel it as soon as you put it on your hand and you let it dry a little bit. The formula is very moisturizing. A lot of times with liquid eyeshadows, because there might be, you know, like some alcohol or agents in there that help the liquid to dry, it sometimes then dries out your eyes and highlights texture. You don't get that from these. I put this on my hand and I could instantly feel how kind of like moisturized the formula is. Very, very smooth, really easy to work with. And I feel like you can't really appreciate it right now because I'm filming in natural light, by the way, but in the dim light, like in the evening light or in lower lighting, my goodness, does this shade just sparkle and twinkle. It's really, really beautiful. There are very small micro glitters in gold and silver, at least in this particular shade, and it's absolutely stunning. If you are a one and done eyeshadow type of person, you might want to check these out. And Chantecaille, what are you guys doing? Why are these not a part of your main permanent makeup line? Because they totally should be. They're really, really beautiful. I'm not telling you to run out and get these if you already have a million like eyeshadow sticks that you're not using, if you have other single eyeshadows, but I am gonna tell you that the formula is really nice. The packaging is beautiful. It's like weighty and glass, and I don't know, I think they did a fantastic job with these. They're $65 each, but if you really struggle with liquid liquid or single eyeshadows looking very dry on your eyelids, this might be something that you want to check out. Next up, I have some products from Sisley, starting off with their new loose powder. There are 4 shades of this powder. I did have the opportunity to check out all 4 shades at Nordstrom. They have translucent, which is the one that I purchased. They have a pink shade, which is usually better for like brightening or under the eyes. There's a deep tone shade, and there's also a shimmer shade. Now, I'll just let you know right off the bat, guys, and I'm sorry, I don't have like video or a photo of this because I just checked it out in store. The shimmer, it's not for me. It is too sparkly for me all over the face. You could use that as like a loose highlighter, but I'd rather just use one of my pressed highlighters. I really don't need a loose highlighter in my life. It just gets way too messy. So I skipped on that, just wanted to let you know why. And I decided to pick up just the good old translucent, because oh my goodness, when I put this on the back of my hand, it disappeared. It looked so smooth, so finely milled. I also like that there's no fragrance in this product, but oh my goodness, is it expensive. It's $125, and I mean, I guess I'm not surprised because it is Sisley, but I was curious, guys. I was curious, how does this compare up against the Clé de Peau? So I'm gonna show you a comparison right here. I would say, you know, to be honest, guys, I can't tell much of a difference. I think they're both just as good. The only thing, actually there's 2 things. The first thing is that this shade from Sisley, I think this might be better for some of you who have a fair skin tone, because with the Clé de Peau, there's only 2 shades. One is the pinky tone shade, and the other one is shade 2, which I'm showing you right here. And I do think that shade 2 will be too dark for some of you out there who are quite fair. Like, it just works for me. But if you're fairer than me, I think it might be a little bit too dark, and I think you should go with this translucent shade from Sisley. Now, the second thing that I want to point out, and this is very important, is that with the Clé de Peau, you get double the product. So they're both the same price, but you get double the product with the Clé de Peau. It's 24 grams, and this one, I believe, yeah, this one is 12 grams. So overall, I would recommend getting the Clé de Peau because you just get more for your money. But if you're really trying to find that perfect shade, if you want something that's fragrance free, if you want like one of the best loose powders on the market that's not gonna get cakey and like emphasize fine lines, because let me tell you guys, I cannot use most powders, so that's why I splurge in this category, and I tend to get very crepey under eyes. You know, this I think is a really, really good option, but the Clé de Peau is definitely a better value, although I acknowledge still very expensive. It's luxury beauty. I also picked up both of the new Sisley eyeshadow quads. I was like, I'll go check them out. I'll go check them out in person, and if they seem good, I will get one. And unfortunately for our wallets friends, they're so good, I picked up both. Why are these so good? Why are these so good? They're really good. The color stories are not groundbreaking, all right? We all know that. We all know the color stories are not groundbreaking, but the formula is, it is chef's kiss, guys. These are, well, number one, they're very pigmented in a really good way. They're incredibly smooth. I like the fact that you get some really nice, gorgeous suede mattes, but then you also get a little bit of sparkle from the metallic and the shimmer shades. And the formula is very creamy. I would say the closest thing I could compare this to would be like a Byredo, a Prada Beauty. It's like that really nice, creamy, smooth, luxurious, yet still blendable eyeshadow formula. If you want something that looks very smooth on the eyes and has that luxury feel, but you want more pigmentation than like a Chanel, for example, I highly recommend taking a look at these. I think the packaging is really nice also. You kind of got the like, is this supposed to be like zebra stripes? I don't know. I don't know the background around this print, but you got this fun Sisley print. They also come with these really nice little, you know, like the little velveteen pouches. Overall presentation, really, really beautiful. The first color story is called Bois de Rose, and this is going to be kind of like a rosewood color. It's a brownie rose. Again, not a groundbreaking color story, but really beautiful. This one does lean rather warm, so I'll mention that. I like warm tones, but if you're afraid of a warm tone palette, this would not be the one that I would recommend. I would instead recommend Tender Toffee. The makeup artist at the Sisley counter in Nordstrom, he said that Tender Toffee is their bestseller. So if that influences you at all, this is the more popular one. And this one is also super gorgeous. This one leans more neutral, more golden, more like traditional brown tones. I really hope that they come out with more color stories. My goodness, if they do, I'm totally gonna be paying attention to what they release. I would love to see them come out with a pop of color, a blue, a green, an olive, purple, whatever they come out with, I'm gonna be paying attention to these. I think that this formula is way better and the overall product is much nicer, a much better luxurious value than the little single eyeshadows that they do. Those are not a bad formula. They're not bad. They're just so expensive for what you get. It's like this teeny little chiclet of an eyeshadow with like really cheap packaging. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, friends. They're very expensive, but if you like this color story, I really don't think that you're going to be disappointed. If you're looking at this and you have sticker shock, I would say that the closest, again, like a permanent product alternative would be the PRADA eyeshadow palettes. They did come out with those 3 neutral ones. You know, the colors are not gonna be exact, but that would be like the more affordable option compared to this. I just wanna give you some suggestions in case you're tempted by this, but you know, maybe it's out of your budget or you're deciding between different releases. And you know what? I will also mention that on one of my live streams recently, we realized that the Tender Toffee color story, it is like almost exact to the Victoria Beckham Cocoa palette. So I'll mention that as well. The formulas are not similar. They're not like the Victoria Beckham Beauty has like those true mattes. It's more of like a powdery formula. This is creamier, but I will mention, guys, you know, if you already bought the Victoria Beckham Beauty Cocoa palette, I probably wouldn't buy the Tender Toffee. I don't want you to waste your money because the color stories are like almost exact. They're very, very similar. I mean, they're brown. They're very dupeable, but they're really similar. So I just want to call that out. Definitely join me on my live streams, by the way, if you haven't already. If you are a makeup lover, I live stream every single Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We talk about new releases. Every show is a little bit different, but we do have a lot of fun. And every single season, I rank all of the seasonal releases. So once I get all of the holiday stuff, once the majority of the releases come out for this season, I will do a ranking of all of this makeup because as you can see in this video, there's a lot of things that are really good. It's hard to prioritize. I totally get it, guys. It's hard to prioritize. So once I get everything, I try and share what my favorites are and I help you decide during these very interactive, fun live streams. Whew, I have one more eyeshadow palette to show you in this video today. There are so many new releases. I picked up this one kind of spontaneously. I was in Harrods on my trip to London. I saw the Dolce & Gabbana beauty counter and I did decide to pick up one of their new eyeshadow palettes. And guys, ooh, I hate to say it, there's so many good things in this video. I need there to be more fails, more bad makeup coming out from these brands because they are coming for my wallet. I hate to say it, but these are also really, really good. I picked up the shade Chrome Star. This is their best-selling color story. Everything is very neutral. Again, very neutral. That's what's selling really well right now, but it is an absolutely stunning cool tone palette. I love this smoky color story. The way that they have these laid out is that you kind of have like a day look on one half of the palette and then you have the night look on the other half of the palette. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do, Dolce & Gabbana, okay? But regardless, I love the fact that they kind of laid it out that way. They give me options. The center shade is a topper shade. The formula is just so beautiful. When I was swatching it in the store, I was really, really intrigued and really impressed. And that's why I decided to pick this up, just like the Sisley eyeshadows. I think this is gonna be good for those of you who want a mixture of different formulas within one palette. If you like a true matte, something that looks very flat, not shimmery, you can build it up. You know, if you want to smoke it out with a black, create a liner, if you want that versatility of a true matte that's still very blendable and easy to work with, you're gonna get that from this palette. And then the metallics, my goodness, they are just so smooth on the eye. I like the inclusion of the little topper shade if you want a little bit of sparkle, because the metallic shades are more like smooth smooth, they glide onto the eye. I think this is really good. So yeah, if you want something more like creamy, I would go with the Sisley. If you want something where there's a mixture of formulas, I would go with this or the Victoria Beckham Beauty. That's how I would think about it. Think about what kind of formula you prefer and then kind of go from there, because everybody's doing these neutral palettes. It's not really a question of like which one is better. They're all very high quality. It really just depends on the level of pigmentation that you prefer and also what kind of mix of formulas do you prefer. It is time, finally, I know guys, finally time for me to share my thoughts on the Hourglass holiday palettes for 2025. I got these babies literally the day that I was leaving for like a 2-week trip. So I've been testing these for over a month now, maybe like five or 6 weeks. So I feel like I have a really good impression of these. I've been using them nonstop. I have the Deer palette and the Swan palette. No, I will not be getting the Horse or the Fox. These are the two that I was the most interested in. So I'm gonna be giving you all of my thoughts on these, starting off with the Deer palette. This is the best one for fair skin. If you are truly fair or very fair, I would stick to this one. In fact, I think this is one of the best palettes, holiday palettes that is, that they have done for fair skin. They have included in this one Diffused Bronze Light, which is a bronzer from the main line, which I recommend to my subscribers who have very fair skin tones, especially if you have like a cooler undertone, if you're afraid of any kind of powder, bronzer, blush going very warm or like orangey on you. This would be the bronzer from Hourglass that I would recommend. And I've had a lot of my subscribers who have that kind of skin tone and they tell me this is the one that they really like. So right off the bat, I was like, boom, okay, we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start here. Then the two finishing powders I think are also really beautiful for fair skin. So we have Aura Light and Dream Light. Aura Light is a little bit peachier, slightly deeper. So I'll put that one more so on my face. And then the Dream Light is really great for brightening under the eyes. It is kind of nice to have those options. I don't think that this palette needed to have two of these. I feel like they're a little bit too similar, but when I go into this palette, especially when I go into the bronzer, it is kind of nice to just go like this. I'll sort of mix these two together so I don't get, you know, blush or whatever on my bronzer brush. So yeah, I don't think it needs to have these two finishing powders, but it is kind of nice to have the option to have one that's more for brightening, especially under the eyes if you're like me and you have like crazy dark circles. As far as the blushes go, once again, Hourglass with their pink and coral blushes in these palettes. Don't even get me started, guys. Like every single palette has to be pink and coral. I don't understand that. I don't get it. It really annoys me. I would have liked a little bit more differentiation between these shades. All that being said, they are really beautiful blushes. And what I like about the ones in this palette, because it's the fair toned palette, is that they're very subtle. They're not super glittery. They're not super stroby. You know, this one has a little bit of shimmer to it, the coral one, but the pink one is like nice and subtle. There's no glitter in it. So if you've kind of shied away from these in the past because a lot of the blushes are just like way too stroby and glittery for you, just know this is a really nice, subtle palette altogether. And the highlighter, oh my goodness, friends. It's beautiful. Iridescent strobe light. That's what they call it. I call it baby's breath. It is just like, ooh, a subtle iridescent gossamer baby's breath layer on your cheekbone. It is a really beautiful highlighter. It's not sparkly. It's just fresh and pearly and gorgeous. I think they did a great job with this palette. It's really just the fact that I think this palette could have been a quad. I don't think we need both of these blushes and both of these finishing powders, but it is nice to have options. So overall, I've really been enjoying this one. I just really wish that, yeah, I just wish that the blushes weren't so pink and corally. Next, we have the Swan palette. Now, this is a bit deeper, but I still feel like it works fine for me. I'm not sure if this one was meant to be for medium skin tones. I feel like it can be fair to medium, but I find that it's perfectly fine for me. In fact, I think it works particularly well because I do have more of like a golden undertone, so I like these tones on my skin tone. The bronzer in this one is definitely more pigmented than the Deer palette, but It's not super warm. It's not super orange. I feel like I can build it up a lot more. I definitely have been reaching for this one a bit more the past couple of weeks because I'm still kind of in summer mode here. It's still really warm. I'm still, wearing a lot of my summer clothes and, kind of reaching for more like summery types of palettes like this. The finishing powder in the Swan palette is Dim Light, which is my favorite one. I use it all the time. Love it for blending out my makeup. Love it all over the face. It's not as brightening as the ones in the Deer palette, and a lot of my more fair subscribers tell me that they feel like this is a little bit too deep and neutral on them. They really prefer the other ones that have more of like that white tone. This is my favorite finishing powder, but some other people feel like it's a bit too dark. As for the blushes, I do like that we have 3 in this palette. I like options when it comes to the blushes. I also love to use these palettes on my eyes, so having more colors, more differentiation of colors makes them more useful to me. I much rather have an extra blush than have an extra highlighter or an extra finishing powder. I also really like the fact that they included a berry shade in this palette, which is super duper beautiful. I do think that these blushes, they have more of a shimmery finish than the ones in the Deer palette. So once again, if you want something really subtle and really appropriate for fair skin, I would go with the Deer palette. But I really like the glow that these blushes give. I think they're beautiful. I still would have loved to have had a neutral blush in here, or even, mood exposure, which they put in like every single palette, but they didn't. They gave 3 very vibrant blushes. So that's something to consider as well if you even reach for these more vibrant shades. If not, definitely do not get this palette. And then lastly, the highlighter in this palette does have a very distinct gold tone. I really like it. Golds tend to look really nice on my skin tone. It is a little bit more, neutral warm. This also looks gorgeous on the eyes and the inner corner. Love it as like a one and done eyeshadow. But I have heard from some of my subscribers who have fairer skin tones that they feel like this is maybe a little bit too strong for them. And so I would recommend this palette for those of you who have a neutral undertone, warm undertone, and if you're kind of like fair to medium on the foundation spectrum. So yes, I think that they're both really, really good. Love the beautiful artwork. I've been using them nonstop for several weeks now. I'm not unhappy with any of the shades, really. I think they're all beautiful, but hopefully kind of that rundown of all the shades will help you think if whether or not these are good for you, because if you're not going to use all the shades, once again, it's really not worth the very high price tag. I know I'm going to get questions about the Horse palette. I didn't pick up the Horse palette. I'm not going to pick up the Horse palette. And the biggest reason for that is because the bronzer in the Horse palette, if my research is correct, is from the Universe palette that they launched a couple years ago. That's the one that had that really weird, like shimmery finishing powder. I think it was before I was even on YouTube, guys, and I just remember not liking that bronzer at all. I've been trying to look up old swatches of it. It pulls very warm. So comment down below, friends, let me know if I'm wrong, but upon doing my research, it really does seem like the Horse palette is for light to medium skin tones who like a warm bronzer. If you have a warm undertone or you really like warm bronzers, that would be the one to pick up. I just didn't want to take the risk. I really didn't. I remember hating that bronzer, and I just know if I pick up that palette, I'm never going to use it. The rest of the shades looked nice, but there's also no new shades in that palette. They're all repeat shades. So if you already bought Hourglass palettes in the past, or if you have some singles, you might already have a lot of those products and you could just buy them as singles. Comment down below and let me know, what are your thoughts on these new luxury beauty releases? I would love to know. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe, or better yet, go watch another video. Up next, I have my guide to the best and worst luxury skin tints. I'll see you there.